Voila, with the amazing technology that we have. Here we go, round two of Kurt Hansen's Race Central radio and television audio-video podcast. Thanks so many of you joined us for round one. This is round two of many to come as we will effort our way through the holiday season to bring you this podcast every Thursday. Thanks to my great magnificent producer who you can't see. She'll be on camera next week. She's far easier on the eyes than I am, but I've always been told I have a face for radio. But it's round two, Kurt Hansen audio-visual podcast, the Race Central podcast, something that we're working on a name. Matter of fact, if you've got a name, if you're a follower on my 20-plus year radio or television show, because we are the longest-running motorsports radio and television show in the country, if you want to toss into your favorite name into the hat, hey, that's cool. You can email us at racecentralmedia@gmail.com. That's racecentralmedia@gmail.com. Help me figure out a name for this damn thing, because I know I'm crazy. Maybe we just call it Kurt Hansen's Race Central Unplugged. I don't know. Maybe I need Sydney to get to work or something on that deal. But lots to talk about today. I do want to remind you, Friday's show, it's Race Central. It's The Drive from 3 to 5 Mountain on ESPN AM 1600, FM 104.3 The Fan on HD2, Alexa, streaming at racecentralmedia.com, the website that makes you a smarter and better motorsports fan. Pretty much anywhere you can hear my voice around the world on racecentralmedia.com streaming. You can watch Race Central TV. Check your local providers for stations and channels in your market, or easiest found where we keep all of our great interviews, all of our great TV shows, and now this here thing we're doing at racecentralmedia.com. And for you early adopters, you can go to racecentral.live. Racecentralmedia.com is a redirect. So, a lot to talk to. Back from our shiny, warm digs in Phoenix, Arizona. Boy, we shot Race Central TV last night. We shot our opens and closes. A balmy 27 degrees here in Denver with a little bit of wind. Really cool look. Really even colder for the host and the crew. Thanks to the crew, because it got really, really cold really, really quick. But so let's stay with that theme. As I was down in Phoenix for championship weekend, also did some live streaming stuff at the World Final Drag Boat races, actually the SDBA finals at what used to be Firebird, now Wild Horse Pass. And it was good to see all the guys and gals. Did some great streaming interviews on Facebook /Kurt Hansen. Just a lot of fun had by all. And then Saturday and Sunday, of course, doing our thing over at Phoenix International Raceway. Got some great streaming interviews. They are on my Facebook page right now, Facebook /Kurt Hansen. I got a great piece with Cole Briscoe, Chase Briscoe, William Byron. I got the new president of Phoenix International Raceway, Letitia Causey, which if you're a Formula One fan, you know Causey's a term for a Cosworth Formula One engine. I did tease her about that. And also Larry Fitzgerald. So having a lot of fun. We're kind of loosely formatted on this deal. But we're going to talk NASCAR. We're going to talk, according to my notes right here, NHRA, as they wrapped up their season this past weekend. So everybody's pretty much done except for Formula One. But we're going to talk NHRA, NASCAR, not in that order, Formula One, the big to-do with Max the Axe Verstappen and his teammate, I don't know. And then World Outlaws, and then we'll wrap it up with your favorite racing movies, because now as we move into that time of the year, now I want to remind you, when all the networks go dark, we don't let you down. We're here 24/7, 365, Race Central Radio, Race Central TV, of course the podcast. It's a good thing, because we want to talk to all of you, not just every week or weekend throughout the season, but of course during what is kind of a misnomer, the quote-unquote off-season, because it really isn't an off season except for maybe the fans and not me, because I'm still working my ass off, and for all of you can tune in to us. So let's start with NASCAR. The bottom line is Joey Logano did his homework. He and his team, Paul Wolf told me years ago that he wanted to be a radio guy. When I was with the Furniture Road team, we'd see him quite a bit, and he's like, Kurt, I want to be a radio guy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you'd be a very good radio guy, but oh, by the way, he just won another championship. So And it's been a decade or so since he's done that. But a pretty cool guy. But they did their homework. They, as we like to say in racing, because as you may or may not know, I'm a former professional driver. I still drive at a very high level in vintage and SCCA and all that kind of stuff too. Not being a bragger, just a factologist, if there's such a word. But they unloaded fast. And when you unload fast, it gives you the opportunity to try things and to go even faster. And boy, did they. Not really a lot of surprises in qualifying. Joey puts it on the pole. I think he definitely had an advantage by going late, because when he could read off of what everybody else was doing and what the track was doing to lay down certainly the lap that put him on the pole. And then, albeit for maybe once or twice throughout the race when they reshuffled from pit stops and stuff, it really was a Joey Logano show. For a season finale, now, the weather was fantastic. I mean, almost 80 degrees. That infield fan zone at PIR is unbelievable. They've done an amazing job with that place and all the new changes. But I've never seen the grandstands that full there, or the infield, or frankly the parking lot or the camping area. But it was a Joey Logano show. In terms of a race, in my opinion, and I've been around a few of these things, it was frankly kind of boring. Just watching Joey run around with his wingman, Ryan Blaney, and people had commented to me, hey, Ryan's going to chase him down, and he's going to do this, and he's going to... I'm like, no, just forget about it. First of all, the worst thing could happen is you crash your teammate. That probably wouldn't sit very well with the captain. Second of all, it was pretty evident from the get-go that Ryan was there to be Joey's wingman. Call it team orders. By the way, Max Verstappen didn't obey his team orders last weekend, but we'll get to that. But he was just there to protect Joey. Now, granted, Ross made it a little interesting at the end. We certainly weren't going to see anything like Martinsville. You couldn't pull that deal off at Phoenix. But, you got to understand, too, that Joey and Ryan were probably communicating either with each other or getting instructions from their spotters. Ross was laying it all out there. I think Joey was just kind of tooling around. I don't think he ever really felt under pressure. And he certainly wasn't getting pressured by Ryan Blaney. So, albeit a bit of a boring race. Now, I'm not a big Logano guy. I don't dislike Joey. I'm just not much of a Logano guy. But over the past season, I have become certainly a Ross Chastain and Tyler Reddick guy. NASCAR is in very good hands with the youngsters. I think it's going to be really exciting to watch the 2023 season. Yes, we've had some tire issues. Yes, we've had some concussions and some misgivings with the new car in terms of the way it dissipates energy when you back into the wall, especially. They'll get that figured out. I like the new car. I also love the fact that the bash after the Clash and our big 16th annual but second bash after the Clash party will be at podiumkarting.com on February 19th. Save the date. It's all free. Win lots of cool stuff, race carts, throw axes. I mean, just, do stuff that normal people do, right? But an interesting season. We learned a lot, good and bad. We saw the comeuppance of certainly Tyler Reddick and Ross Chastain. The increased improvement with a lot of the young drivers, maybe some of the older guard, maybe stepping aside. Joe Gibbs, the change is there, and I have to address it because it did happen. The passing of Coy Gibbs, what a tragedy. Ironically, his brother, J.D. Gibbs, who was on Race Central years ago, was a phenomenal interview and a phenomenal guy. J.D. died of a degenerative brain condition. Coy, at least as of this taping, we don't really know, but certainly Ty Gibbs did not race on Sunday. Big surprise. There was a real pall over the media center. You could just kind of feel it. And then as time went on, we do what we all have to do, and that's get back to business, do the jobs we're there to do. Media, PR, drivers, teams, the whole deal. But ironically, Coy and JD both passed away at 49. Wow, I don't know what that means. I'm not a black helicopter guy, kind of a karma guy, but sad, got to mention it. it's a loss for sure. Our hearts and feelings go out to the whole Gibbs family. So I'm going to digress now from the world of roundy rounders and sometimes turn right and turn left to the National Hot Rod Association, or as I coined years ago, which didn't win me a lot of friends, the National Hard Rain Association, because it rained, it seemed like half the season. But that was many, many years ago. Who remembers that? Anyway, NHRA, our good friend Steve Torrance, going for 4 in a row, just didn't work out. It seemed like they lost, they just lost a little bit and could never really get it 100% back on track. But still, a great season for Steve Torrance. He and I have become good friends. I love his family. They're cool people. But actually, the whole NHRA, I've been around it so long, as I've had some people tell me in the media, I've forgotten probably more about drag racing than most people know. I'm not sure if that's true, but I do like a good nitro burn. Yeah, let's warm that clutch. Let's roast my eyes and my sinuses and my nose right off my face. So interesting season for Leah. I was in Phoenix early on. Hagen went to the finals that weekend against Robert Height, who had just won in Pomona the week before. Robert won again in Phoenix. Leah, tough weekend. Now, as many people probably don't know, Leah's deal is all new. Everything is new. Matt's deal, they basically bought a Chick-fil-A, ready-to-go meal in a box. They bought all the cars, the parts, the team members. They basically just moved a couple miles down the road, and all of a sudden there's Tony Schumacher Racing. So Matt's path this season, and to have a very good season, by the way, was nowhere near as difficult as Leah's. How ironic, I've known Leah since she was a kid. She was on Race Central TV like 20 years ago, when she was doing Junior Dragster here at Bandimere Speedway. But I had a premonition here on the hogback, as we call it, that she was going to win at the Mile Highs, and she did. Antron Brown, who's a very good friend, I've known him for a long, long time, and a new friend, Justin Ashley. We were guests in their hospitality, thanks to the Lucas guys. And Antron had a difficult start being a new team owner. I mean, basically everything's on him. And my good friend Ted Yerzak doing PR for Antron. I've known Ted since he was an intern at the NHRA like 25 years ago. But I told Antron that I think they're getting ready to turn a corner. They just seem to be getting better. And it was in baby steps for certain. But he's a great friend, and I was feeling kind of bad for him because I know how badly he wanted this. And it just was a struggle. And I've been around pro motorsports long enough to know that when you're struggling and things just aren't seeming to fit, sponsors get nervous, everybody gets nervous. So I was so happy when he won just a week or two later, and then went on to win the Indy Nationals, ended up having a very strong last half of the season. Congratulations to Antron. And then Ron Capps. That's a weird deal. I'm not going to go into all the details. I probably know too much, but that Toyota Super Body looks great on the car. Ron, not struggles, but teething problems, as we say in motorsports. But boy, certainly found his way at the end of the season, and then goes to roll out the big lap at Pomona. Congratulations to Brittany Force. Brittany was just kind of there all year round. Congratulations to Britt. Congratulations to Ron Capps. How about Erica Enders, huh? That is building a dynasty. So she backs up her championship from last year. Matt Smith, Matt and Angie, even Angie finding a lot of speed towards the end of the year. Certainly Matt had it. So congratulations to all our NHRA champions. What a great season. It's only like 60 days. Maybe not even that many. It's 100 to the Daytona 500. I think it's 60 days until, I have to check my math, until the NHRA starts. By the way, Chili Bowl Nationals, which I'll be there, are like a month and a half away. I'm sure it'll be nice and cold there too, as I've experienced that. But Chili Bowl Nationals, kind of the unofficial start. Then you got testing in Daytona. You got the roar before the 24. Then we roll the 24 hours, so twice around the clocker. Next thing we know, It's all on again. Hey, I'm Motorsports Insider Kurt Hansen. Thanks for watching this part of the Race Central Unplugged, whatever the heck we're going to call this thing. If you've got a name, hey, fire me off an email, racecentralmedia@gmail.com. We got to talk Formula One, World of Outlaws, coming up right after this. Hey, Race Central fans, host Kurt Hansen here. Hey, I know all of us gearheads, there's a couple things we really like to do. We like to party, like to go to the races, like to barbecue. We also like to drink. Hey, the number one place for all the fine beverages that you love to consume, confection foods, cigars, and oh, so much more. And the fastest pit stop anywhere here in the Rocky Mountains is Total Beverage. Go check them out. That's where I go. TotalBev.com. It's TotalBev.com. Hey, folks. Race Central host Kurt Hansen here. Welcome to the newest addition to Race Central Radio, TV, our events, and all the cool stuff we do. It's the audio-visual podcast produced by the ever-charming Sydney Cora. Hey, when it comes time to do commerce, support the people that support us, PDA Road Gear, the oldest radio shop in Denver. It's where all the pros go. They've got lifetime warranty. Also, for a limited time, get their super cool radar detector. Never pay for a speeding ticket again. They do it all. Don't trust me. I'm trying to sell you something. Contact Guy and his guys at pdaroadgear.com. Sydney says go. 54321. Hey, welcome back to the Race Central radio and TV streaming, audio, podcasts, whatever the hell they call these things. I'm Motorsports Insider Kurt Hansen. I've only been doing this about, in real, probably 35 years. We are the longest running motorsports radio and TV show in the country. And now we're doing this little gig, produced by the omnipresent and ever-charming Sydney Cora, the producer extraordinaire. It was a great job on my Race Central radio show on ESPN Radio here in Denver. By the way, it's called The Drive. Get it? The Drive, because it's from 3 to 5, AM 1600, FM 104.3, HD2, and then streaming around the country and around the globe at where you're watching this right now, which is racecentralmedia.com. Same old address, but all new site. Content, because that's the key. Or if you're an early adopter, as I like to say, racecentral.live. Okay, and I want to thank PDA Road Gear. Hey, when it comes time to do commerce, help the people that help us, because without them, we can't do all the stuff that we do. TV, radio, online, podcasts, streaming podcasts. I mean, on and on and on and on and on. So I want to thank PDA Road Gear. Now, if you've got a car, a bike, two-wheel, four-wheel, whatever it is, these guys are the serious badasses. No matter what it is, interiors, customization, Denver's oldest radio shop, one of the finest in the country, 5 stars on Yelp. I mean, this is where the pros shop. And right now, for a very limited time only, as we like to say, they have this super cool radar detection system. Never pay for a speeding ticket again. Contact Guy and his team at pdaroadgear.com. Okay, so it's time to get back at it. Good little segment on NASCAR, NHRA. We keep it pretty loosely formatted here, which is kind of the fun stuff. So, Formula One. I'm not going to, well, I don't know. Who knows? I'm a rambler. I'm very happy Max the Axe got his second championship. I mean, he was pretty much all over but the shout, and I would say probably mid-season, even though he clinched a little bit later. But Red Bull just seems to be the car to beat. Checo Perez has turned out to be a great teammate. I mean, it's, what a season. Lewis Hamilton, I'm not a Hamilton guy. Now, maybe the play Hamilton, but Lewis's act, kind of like Russell Wilson. I'm not a Bronco fan either, but Russell Wilson here in Denver, his Denver Bronco country, let's ride. It's getting a little old. Maybe it should be Bronco country, let's hide. But I just don't like his act. Hell of a driver, don't get me wrong there. But it was nice to see this last weekend in Brazil, his teammate, which may be the future of Mercedes-Benz. Lewis says, "Oh, there's no danger. I'm not going to retire." I don't really care if you do or not. And the lovely thing about Formula One, and I know this because I've been around the sport forever, and then during the pandemic, what was that? I've read about it in all the papers. We had probably the premier presenter, as we like to say, Mr. Will Buxton, on the program. We did a 3-part series for TV and radio. You know, it's shaking your hand with one hand and stabbing you in the back in the other. It's a brutal deal. Formula One it is what it is. And, you know, Lewis is saying, well, I don't plan on going anywhere soon. Again, I don't care if he does or doesn't. But I think George Russell is a terrific young man and has a terrific future, not just at Mercedes-Benz, but in Formula One. And this is a guy that, you know, was there tragically, you know, the horrific times at Williams, and could have got very, very lost in that mess. But thank God he did not. You know, Ferrari resurgence this year. Red Bull's got the package. That's the key. You could be Daniel Ricciardo. And if the package isn't all there, it doesn't work out. Lando Norris has been consistently better than Daniel Ricciardo. I don't know what he's going to do this year. There's been a lot of rumors here stateside that he may come to IndyCar. I don't know. It's kind of like going from being a head coach in the NFL to being like the special teams coordinator. It's just not a good mark in your box. But who knows? Who knows? He certainly has got a lot of brevity and levity, and he's a hoot. But I think his career is in serious jeopardy. We'll see what happens as we go into next year. Hey, crazier things have happened. But congratulations to Max. The big controversy last weekend in Brazil. He says it goes back to Monaco, where Checho, he believes, crashed him on purpose. It's Formula fucking One. The F stands for fucking. It's a backstabber, man. I mean, remember the old James Bond movies with the tire cutters that come out and the water gun and the machine? If they could put those on the cars in Formula One, they fucking would. Trust me. So, I don't know. I'm not sitting there. I'm not the fly on the wall in there. I mean, I know what I'm talking about, but I certainly raced, with Champ Car and Pro Atlantic long enough and know it. Yeah, crazy shit happens. Whether it was or it wasn't, he disobeyed team orders. They say that we've worked it out internally. We've talked about it. Man, yeah. Yeah, they all went home and said, yes, we're going to put away our knife sharpeners, which really means they just bought newer knives and better sharpeners. We may not have seen the end of that. Problem is, though, you start getting that kind of stuff going on inside the team, and it's very bad for the team. It's bad for the morale. It's bad for everything. So hopefully we don't see that. But Max Verstappen could be looking like Sebastian Vettel moving forward. So I don't know. Sorry to see Daniel Ricciardo go, but who knows? Like I said, weirder things have happened. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's much to do about nothing. Yeah, team orders. If he really believes that in his mind that his teammate wrecked him in Monaco, he don't care. He's a freaking world champion. Let's talk a little World Outlaws for a second, because I raced dirt cars, BCRA midgets, and 305 sprint cars in California way back in the day. We had wood wheels, wagon wheels. Yeah. Got super and we've aired a lot of World Outlaw content in Race Central TV because I love them. They're to me, Silver Crown cars and sprint cars, whether they're winged or non-winged, are the last bastion of grumpy, angry, mean, I could fuck you up in a second race cars. Everything about them I love. And if you take a look at the platform, it's still, in a lot of ways, 50s technology. Now, the cages are stronger. They're using better alloys. I mean, these are state-of-the-art safety, or in terms of safety, but they still look a lot like they did a long time ago. And the guys that drive them, they're different cats, man. And I've always said, even a good road racer, I was a really good road racer, and then I went to the dirt, and it was a big eye-opener, but there were things that I took from racing in the dirt or the clay or whatever the hell you want to call it, that did translate in many ways to pavement racing. But if you ask a dirt guy, dirt's for racing, pavement's for getting there. I'll take them both. I love them. But, boy, what a resurgence for Donnie Schatz. I had a chance to interview him at the Knoxville Nationals this year. I was first up on the podium. I was teasing him that, it's the 11th, and his suit said, the 10th, 10 time. He thought it was funny. And then I had a chance to talk to him at Lincoln when they closed down I-80. Like I say, put a fork in him. And then, a very cold, bitter night. And then the next night, absolutely beautiful, over outside of Kansas City in Lakeside. Not two good races for Donnie. First part of the season, very up and down, struggling. Got the win at Knoxville. Seemed he was feeling better about the Ford Motor program. He still had some comments on the podium that were still, but I digged. I love me some Donnie Schatz. And then it seems like they really picked things up. His average finish, I believe, before Knoxville was like 6.8 or 7.8. After Knoxville, it seems like they got the stuff together, except for Lakeside and I-80, and his average finish was like 3.5 or 3.7. Really started to get some momentum going. And I talked to him in Kansas City at Lakeside, and he was he was very candid about the motor program. I'm not sure he's completely convinced it's all figured out, but they certainly had a good late run at it, and it was great to see him win one of the prelims at the World Finals in Charlotte, his 306th. Count that, 306th feature win in the World Outlaws. I certainly hope that Tony Stewart Racing and Donnie and all those guys can really get that deal figured out, because I think Donnie Schatz, as great as David Gravel was all season long and towards the end of the season, Donnie could be back, and I'd like to see that. It's good for the sport. David Gravel, as I mentioned, he was kind of the Susan Lucci of World Outlaw Racing all year long. And when we left Lakeside, I believe he was 16 points back. Then they went back east, and he had a good run there. I think it was 6 points between him and the Big Cat as they went to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I think everybody and everything that I was reading, people I was talking to, quote unquote, we got ourselves a serious championship battle going down. And then Brad Sweet does what Brad Sweet does. I mean, and I got this from everybody. Carson Macedo, maybe the fastest car out there all season long, as admitted by many other people, but consistency. He ended up finishing third in the championship, had a pretty decent run late, but he only DNF'd a handful of times. Brad Sweet didn't. And he won his fourth in a row. Now, I'm not sure we're going to see anybody get to Steve Kinzer numbers, but who knows? Brad is amazing, and he's just cool as the other side of the pillow. Gravel, awesome dude. The new dad. I was rooting for him. I don't root against any of these guys because they're really great guys. And gals. There's a few of them out there. But Brad Sweet, David Gravel, Carson Macedo, and Donnie Schatz. That's your top four. Of all the competitors in the World of Outlaws this year, and I think there was some incredible, crazy number, but 14 full-time teams. But of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drivers that competed in the World of Outlaws this past season, Woo, as we used to call it, paid out over $5 million in purses, tow money, all that kind of stuff. And they got a good TV package. I'm not a big flow racing guy, but I tell you, it's going to be an interesting year next year. And I love them all. Oh, Sheldon Hodenshaw, by the way. He's another great dude. Actually, I think he was fifth. I could be wrong. Could be fourth or fifth. I don't take a lot of notes. But a good season for the young man. That's part of that Marshall Stenhouse, Clausen, mega team over there. Good stuff. I don't know. What can I tell you? So I'm going to wrap it up because it was very cold and snowy here in the Mile High there day. What's your favorite racing movie? I certainly watched one of mine. Yeah, Le Mans, Steve McQueen. I can tell you what that means. Maybe I'll have to wait for the next episode. Some people know, some people don't. But it's not this. What a great flick. And maybe the best 13, 14 minutes in any movie, in the end, man, those 917s sound good, don't they? So question, because I got a lot of favorite racing movies. That's just one of them. You can go ahead and reach out to me. Send us an email, raccentralmedia@gmail.com. That's raccentralmedia@gmail.com. Tell us your favorite racing movie. Maybe we'll do a movie review, or maybe we'll send you something in the mail. And it won't come from the IRS, and it won't be ticking. So that's all I got. I'm Motorsports Insider Kurt Hansen. Thanks for watching. If you like the show, don't like the show, whatever, send us an email anyway. raccentralmedia@gmail.com. To everybody out there in podcast land, tune into the radio show Fridays 3 to 5 Mountain. It's The Drive, AM 1600, FM 104.3 The Fan, and always streaming around the country and around the globe at racecentralmedia.com. And try to find Race Central TV in your area. We're on Amazon Prime, Roku, everywhere. But easiest found at racecentralmedia.com. Again, from the Coyote Motorsports Studios here in Denver, Colorado. Actually, Denver's only certified Yamaha dealer, one of the top CF Moto dealers in the country. And now they got the e-bikes and the scooters and everything, too. We're going to have to get Sydney a scooter. So I picked out a really pretty pink one for her. I'm the Crazy Man. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.